You turn your car key every single day, but have you ever stopped to think about what's actually happening under the hood? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're going to trace the incredible journey of a single spark, all the way from that simple twist of your wrist to the moment your engine roars to life.
I mean, think about it. It's an action we do without a second thought, but behind it is this amazing chain reaction of electricity and perfect timing. So, what's the magic behind that split-second event? Let's dive in and find out. Okay, so first things first, we really need to get our heads around why this whole system is so critical. You could honestly call it the unsung hero of your engine. It's like the starting pistol for the entire race happening inside. When you boil it all down, the ignition system really only has one job. But man, is it a big one. Its entire purpose is to create a super high-energy spark at the perfect moment inside each cylinder to light up that mix of air and fuel. Without that spark, well, your engine is just a really, really heavy and very useless piece of metal. And here's the cool part. When that spark is absolutely perfect, everything else just clicks into place. We're talking a smooth-running engine, you get the best possible fuel economy, your emissions are lower, and you get every ounce of performance your car was designed to deliver. So yeah, the health of this one little system, it hits your wallet and your driving experience directly. Okay, you ready? Let's actually follow the journey. We're going to trace the path of a single electrical charge as it gets transformed into this ridiculously powerful spark that makes the whole engine just roar to life. Now, check this out. Your car battery, right? It's just a standard 12-volt battery. But to create a spark that's hot enough and strong enough to actually ignite fuel, the ignition system has to crank that up to over 40,000 volts. I mean, that is a huge transformation, and it all happens in the blink of an eye. So the big question is, how does it do that? Well, it all kicks off with that 12-volt battery. Then the car's brain, that's the engine control unit, or ECU, it does all the math, calculating the perfect millisecond to fire. That signal zips over to the ignition coil, which is basically a powerful amplifier. It's the thing that boosts the voltage. And finally, all that high voltage gets sent straight to the spark plug, which unleashes what is basically a tiny lightning strike. Boom, ignition. But this tech hasn't just been sitting still. Not at all. The ignition system in a brand new car today is a completely different beast from what our parents or grandparents drove. And really, the biggest difference boils down to one simple word: reliability. See, the old school systems used this thing called a mechanical distributor. It was literally a spinning part that physically directed the spark to the right cylinder, and a mechanic had to set its timing by hand. Modern cars, they use what's called a coil-on-plug system. There are 0 moving parts for the timing. It's all handled with insane digital precision by the car's computer and a bunch of sensors. And probably the biggest leap forward? Getting rid of those thick, high-voltage spark plug wires. Honestly, these things were a huge headache in older cars, a major point of failure. They'd wear out, they'd crack, they'd cause all kinds of misfires and weird performance problems. Today's systems just get rid of them completely. Instead, they put a small, dedicated ignition coil right on top of each spark plug. It's just way simpler, way more durable, and so much more efficient. All right, so what happens when things start to go wrong? Let's take all this techie stuff we've just learned and connect it back to the real world, to what you might actually feel as a driver when that spark starts to fade. So, if you've ever had your car idling kind of rough, or maybe it hesitates a bit when you step on the gas, or you feel this little shudder, yeah, that's what we call a misfire. And it's usually caused by a couple of key things. Most often, it's either a worn-out spark plug that just can't make a good, strong spark anymore, or it's a failing ignition coil that isn't pumping out enough voltage. So you take your car to the shop, right? The mechanic plugs in that little computer scanner, and they come back and say, hey, you're throwing a P0302 code. And you're thinking, what on earth does that mean? It sounds super complicated, doesn't it? But trust me, it's actually incredibly simple. All that code is telling you is that the car's computer, the ECU, has picked up a misfire, and it's happening specifically in cylinder number 2. The P030 part just means misfire. And that last number, that's the cylinder number. So P0301 is cylinder 1, P0302 is cylinder 2, P0303 is cylinder 3. You get the idea? See? Not so scary once you know the secret. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
What are the big things you should take away from all this? Let's do a quick recap.
Really, the main takeaway here is this. Just understanding how this system works, from the battery all the way to that final spark, doesn't just make for interesting trivia. It actually makes you a more informed and a more confident car owner. You can walk into a repair shop and actually understand what your mechanic is talking about, and you can describe any problems you're feeling with way more accuracy. It's like one of the auto mechanic guides we looked at says, the whole point of the system is to deliver a precise spark at the correct moment. That's it. Everything about it is built on that one idea, precision. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. This whole incredible journey from 12 volts all the way up to 40,000, it all ends at this tiny, pretty inexpensive part, the spark plug. It's the thing that delivers that final critical punch that powers your entire car. So here's a question for you. Could it be that the humble spark plug is actually the most important part in your entire vehicle? Definitely something to chew on.